Hello, welcome to another Smart Homemakers live. Here today, I'm Gio. If it's the first time that you see me here on YouTube, I have Marco here. Can I call you a smart home guru, or is that a bit too much?
Yeah, thanks, Gio. Thanks for the introduction. Yeah, I mean, I cannot, I don't know if I can be considered a smart home guru, but I have a lot of experience to in my during my life in many things, and one of my hobbies, right, is smart homes. So I think that I can share something, yeah, with
Right,
our
that's
audience, right?
super exciting to have you. And we've got a packed agenda. I know, Marco, you've prepared a lot of things. But
Mhm.
first of all, big welcome. And there's a chat. Obviously, if you want to ask a question, you can ask a question about what you're seeing, or a question about Marco and his path and his journey. So, Marco, you are an author. Recently you wrote a book, right?
Mhm.
Which is a bigger achievement. And it's one of the few books that exists around smart home, as far as I understand. Um, and do you want to tell us what the name of the book is? I know, of course, we've got it rolling underneath also.
Yeah, thanks for first of all, I mean, thanks for the invitation, right? For this live video is the first live that I joined. Yeah, so as you just comment, I authored a book. It was released September last year, and yeah, it's called "Building Smart Home Automation Solutions with Home Assistant," right?
Nice. We're a
So
home
it's
assistant bunch here. We love it.
yeah. So yeah, was released by the Packet publisher. It's available at Amazon. We can maybe share the link later on in the chat. Um, yeah, it's was a really nice experience for me because just not only summarize some content about home automation, but also my part of my life as a hobbyist, right? And I brought a lot of devices here that I built along my career is also showing the book, and also want to share some examples with your audience. I know that your audience is very skilled, maybe most part of them
Yeah.
with home assistant. Probably what I show in the screen will not be too much thing new for them, but at least the hardware devices maybe could be something new,
So,
right, or
talk to
different.
us about your background. What's your background, and when did you start
Mhm.
getting into home automation? Well, first of all, big thanks to Adam for subscribing. So, thanks for that.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, so I'm an electronics engineer, and actually I started my career as electronics technician at IBM at the time that IBM is still making computers. So, so a long time ago. After that, I did my university course at electronics engineer, and then 6 years after, my master's in computer science. And after I did my master's, I was uh, trying to look for opportunities to do some product development involving hardware and software. This
Mm,
was back in 2006.
yeah.
And I found in the home automation area or field a good opportunity to exercise this product development need in my career because I mean was mixing hardware and software, right?
Yeah.
I was already were exposed to hardware development, but not much to software development. After I did my masters, I was more focus on embedded software, right? So I was able to start, to practice more home automation. And but at that time, 2006, if you take, rewind a little bit, the iPhone was released 2007,
Yeah.
right? So January 2007. 2006, there was not much, neither Wi-Fi available. We have a 82.11b, that 11 megabits per second was not so popular as today.
Yeah.
Right. So, and home automation at that time, I remember that I purchased another book, Smart Home Hacks at that time, and was based on the X10 protocol, right? I don't know if people are aware of the X10 protocol, but it's a protocol that communicates through the electricity, the wires at your home, right? It's it works well, but has some drawbacks. It's very slow. But I was able to purchase some devices, right? These devices here. I was starting to show to people so they can see.
There you go. Right? Yeah, zoom in. Yeah, so we can see them.
Sorry, this is the modem. This is the appliance module, right?
Right.
And you can address 256 devices in your home.
Oh, okay.
Right, and you plug on this. You have a RJ11 connector, right?
Yep.
And this is the modem, right, that you can communicate. But you need to use kind of central computer, central unit, right, to control it. And then I built this device here, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's if you look at the back, it's not a PCB board, it's just wires, right?
Yeah.
So soldered. And here at the back of the display, you can see a microcontroller, a PIC microcontroller.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I wrote an application note from, I read an application note from Microchip at that time, where it was shared how to create this kind of basic idea, how to create this task scheduler, and I evolved it to do a communication through this modem device. And then I was able to at that time control some devices, right? You have the lamp module as well. There's a socket that you put the lamp, right?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah. So nice. You put the lamp here, and you have an X10 device here that you can control, right? So that's the way that, So what's how things started, right?
Yeah.
This was 2000, maybe not. Yeah, 2009.
Got a fan here?
Yeah, it's my mother, actually.
That's great. Right. Welcome.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you.
So it's good to have Mom. That's great.
Yeah.
So this is super interesting. So do you talk a lot about I'm calling the history, the origins of smart home in the book, or is it more focused on the future or the now, let's say?
Actually, if you think about the book, is the way that I try to write the book. It is not to teach you how to code this task schedule, right? How to make this, how to code, how to create this electronics. It's more to, with the solutions that we have today, with how the availability of software and hardware with Arduino and other sensors that are built together. For example, this is an integrated sensor, motion sensor, right? That you can purchase at Amazon. It's available. It's already built. It's just to connect wires. It's pretty much how you can navigate in this world to build your own system, right? and it's not teach you to code, not teach you to maybe you need to have minimal skills, right, in hardware and software to build your own system, right?
Yeah.
And the book is kind of incremental, right? You start from this background, that I mentioned about some things related to home automation, just to make the ground to what will be presented in the book, right? Making some background of the solutions, right, and what is available, so people in the other chapters they can understand better the concepts that will be presented, right?
Yeah.
And then you can start to build your own system from scratch. I mean, I use a Raspberry Pi, and then how to install Home Assistant, how you create your home automation server, how you configure it, and then how to start to integrate your sensors, right? That you can purchase them, but the approach, as I'm very curious, right? I like to build stuff, so I build my own sensors, right? This is another motion sensor that I built, and this came now with an enclosure that I printed in this 3D printer back at the back.
I see. Yes.
So that's one of the reasons that I purchased this enclosure here. I not designed the enclosure, by the way. I got it ready, right?
Okay. Yes.
So
makes sense.
I mean, I can understand. I can learn how to use some 3D model software and then build this case. But if I know that these things are ready, I can just grab them and use, right? So it's what and this is the sense of the book, how you can navigate on the solutions, build your own solutions, right? I teach how you create your sensors and so on, how to hack a commercial sensor. You purchase a commercial sensor in the market, and how you can change its software, right, to you can control better what is behind. I mean, some parameters, some configurations that if you cannot have these, it's maybe impossible to control some features of these devices. And then I incrementally are sharing the how can I say, how you create automations, how you can integrate your system, right? And later on, more to the end of the book, I start to share some practical examples. The building what I called the double measurement sensor, the temperature and the motion sensor is one of the sensors, the practical examples that is in the book. And I share more 2 other examples that helps people to build their solutions, right? And even and you can start to think, oh, but this is a very basic, maybe, right? But I mean, people have different experiences in their lives. I truly believe
I found that too.
right?
Yeah.
And then what could be common to you maybe is different from another person, and vice versa. I truly believe that at some point I can share some content that probably would be new for someone.
Oh, okay. That would be interesting.
Yeah. So, for example, just to give an idea, I don't know if you know the creator for the Tasmora software, Theo Arends.
Yeah.
Theo Arends. Yeah.
Not personally. Not personally.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Cool.
No, not personally.
Not personal. Okay. So Theo Arends grabbed a copy of the book, and he commented that he was learning about one of the chapters.
Wow.
Right? I mean, it was something new for him.
Yeah.
Which means that even the Tasmora creator learned something new, right? With the book. And I think that's how I altered the book, and was for me, was very pleasant experience to do.
Oh, that's great. That's really nice to hear, because it's such an interesting thing, this area, right? So many different parts of it. the IoT, the building the sensors, the software, the home assistant, the automations, and now we're going into like more like AI and machine learning. There's more and more changes happening with this whole smart home space. And like you say, everyone comes from a different starting point. So I can get it. It's difficult to understand, where things set. Shall we just explore a bit of Home Assistant? Shall we talk about Home Assistant and how you had like a few questions for me? Like, how did you get into it? When did you join the Home Assistant bandwagon community? And how have you found it? Like, how have you found using Home Assistant? Because here, I'm assuming most people that are subscribed or come and watch my videos have Home Assistant or would like to learn more about Home Assistant. How's your experience with it?
Thanks. Very good question. Thanks. So I think that it's an interesting story because I discovered Home Assistant occasionally. Was not looking for a software per se to control things at home or to manage the things at home, the devices. I bought some Wi-Fi plugs, right? I think that back 2017, 2018, I believe. And I installed an app through the phone, but I was very limited. So I was trying to do different things with it. It's when I discovered Tasmora and so that the wires there in the device and managed to convert the software, to hack the software at that time. And then I thought, oh, that's nice. I mean, a web server in these plugs, right? So it's very interesting. And then I was watching some videos, right, at YouTube. Is a very good way to learn, in my opinion. I learn a lot of your channel. In your other colleagues, right? Sure. I learn a lot through videos in general. I mean, not only Home Assistant, but other subjects. And I was looking for an application there. I think that was manage something related to temperature.
Yep.
And I install. Today is called IoT Stack, right? I covered this during the book. Is a stack with a bunch of softwares related to IoT. And they are installed through Docker containers, right? So, and then I remember that I installed this in a Raspberry Pi. Some softwares that were in this Docker containers.
When was this? Was this?
I think that 2020, 2021, something like
2020, that. 2021, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then I start to use the softwares there, and then I discovered Home Assistant was one of the softwares that was there, right, in the middle. Yeah. And then I start to use this installation, right, through Docker container, and later on that I migrate to the traditional installation that we have the entire operation system through Home Assistant, right?
Yeah.
So, but was 2020, I think. In 2021, I moved to this house that I'm living today. Right. And I was living in an apartment, very small, and at that time, and I was very excited with the idea. Now I have an entire lab to play, right, in my home, install things and everything. So, and that's when the things really started, 2021. But it was very fast because as I already have this background, right? With along the time until 2017, 18, I was evolving my system, right, to these other devices here, the particles, right? That was maybe the one of the first ones that was before ESP32's ESP8266, right? It was based on the Texas Instruments CC3000 Wi-Fi module. I sponsored then that Kickstart crowdfunding at that time in 2013, I think. And I moved everything from this board here, and also I hack another router as well, include 2 serial ports on it, install WRT50 Open WRT, sorry, the Linux distribution.
Yep.
Right, and was creating some WebSocket programs there, and also create an application on Android to control these devices. And these 3 devices was replaced at the end by these particle things, right? The devices.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then with this Raspberry Pis and SP8266, SP32s, the life is easy. Is more know how to integrate things today, and not. You can learn, right? But for me, it was enough, right? To create Arduino code just to control. No, grab things ready and more complete, and you can do whatever you can.
I'd like to ask you a question about that, because I got an Arduino kit. This must be in maybe 10, 11 years ago, and I never really spent enough time on it. And I'm imagining now that you could do all sorts of things with. Is there any project you would recommend that, or something that you did with Arduino board? Have you used them much?
Not too much, but what I'm doing now is just I'm reviewing a book, right?
Yeah.
It's another book related to IoT, and it has, I think that one, but you have to be mindful, right? If you get the base Arduino, the Arduino Uno doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Right.
That's the reason that I not went to Arduino first time, because they didn't have any type of connectivity, right?
Right.
Now, recently, they maybe 1 or 2 years ago, they start to migrate, and even using these expressive devices, right? These SP32s they are using. But they were using just Atmel devices, right?
Okay.
And poor microcontrollers. So I have one in the form factor here, but it's an SP32. It's an Arduino form factor, but it's SP32. If you go through Arduino, make sure that if you want connectivity, Wi-Fi connectivity and Bluetooth connectivity, go through a module that has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities, right?
Yeah.
And I recommend the SP32s because they are more cheap, right? They are more available, and you can use the Arduino IDE to program them, right? So it's easy way to do it. You can use also platform.io is another platform that you can use program embedded devices as well. And as I was commenting, what I'm doing right now is just testing a code that has implementing the MQTT. One of the libraries is the PubSub client. I think that one of the good things from these devices based on Arduino or Arduino IDE, they have a lot of libraries, right? And you can easily use ready functions to build your own stuff, right? And unless you want to learn from scratch and learn from a book or you can type your code and do everything. Otherwise, it's just to give examples and using AI tools, right? This ChatGPT, things like that. You can even just tell to write a code based on this, and that, and boom, the code is ready, right? So It's very easy today. Yeah.
Nowadays it's changed a lot. I mean, even coming back to Home Assistant, like Home Assistant, every month they're always putting out new releases and making it easier and easier. You can nearly, I tried to actually see if you could set up a pretty we'll say complex but pretty like detailed smart home without any YAML. I think it is pretty close. It's not there yet. I think there was still some use cases where I had to use YAML when I was trying to rebuild my smart home again. But I remember like, even just 2 years before that, when I was doing it, so every 2-3 years I try to rebuild again, because so I get the latest experience to understand like what has changed, right, to keep up to date. And it was like big change. It was like a lot of it was YAML coding, and I have a preference for it because I think coding has advantages over UI screens. You sort of learn more how things work. You can easily share what you've done with someone else, right? You can pull ideas from someone else and expand on them. Whereas with UI, also it's easy. You might miss a step, right? So if you have to do 15 clicks in a certain way, you might get to the end and say, what have I done wrong? It's difficult to know what you've clicked. Whereas in code, you just can always go back up and down and read it. So I think if they keep code, then it's fine. Add UI, I don't matter, right? Add UI for anyone who doesn't want to touch it. Fine. I think when they need to make a decision between, do I start removing the ability to control it via code, I feel like many enthusiasts will certainly miss out in that journey. But certainly, Home Assistant has been getting better and better.
I think that they should keep maybe this option as well, because for software developers, right, people that are used to deal more with software, they prefer code, right? Things are maybe more under control in their world, let's say, right? Is what I believe. But but today, if you don't know YAML, you don't need, to do some basic things, right? And it's just to know the ideas behind on what you want to do. Basically, the thing is, and I always do like that, right? I'm not learning something just because I learned, right? I used to learn more when I have a use case. Right. When I want to apply something, right? Or I want to build this, right? So, and then I start to learn until I get there, right? So this sensor, this sensor, for example, has a story that I share in the last chapter of the book. I start to do an automation at home, and I mentioned this in the last chapter using some resources from AI to help me, right? At least on the software area, and I start to still building some automation for my master bedroom, right? So, in this sensor is part of it, and I used in the book I shared some cardboard box, and I comment that I build the sensor, and I comment about options to use a 3D printer, right? And I said, no, I need to get better on this. So let me buy a 3D printer, know how to use it, and also start to build these enclosures. The next part maybe is to start to learn more about how to use these 3D software models, because I will be using in my future work. So I will probably learn more about it and start to creating things, 3D models, right? But always be creative in your home, because and also I shared this in the book, that you have to think about it. What are your needs, right? What I share is just my experience, and try to open people's mind to what the resources that they can use, right? It is more like that. and is more to open different areas, different types of knowledges, so people can grab it. I think that this is an interesting idea, and grab it and practice, learn, and do their own things, right?
Yeah, I agree. It makes
Yeah,
total
I think
sense.
that,
You have the use cases so much. I think I mean that's the whole idea. It's the passion, right, and the excitement of trying to solve a solution or fix something. And then especially when it hasn't been done before, or you haven't, there's no easy accessible video that you can just copy exactly what this person's doing. You need to stitch together information from different sources to try and get to something. And then I think once you've got that, it's in a way, it should be our duty to share it, right? Either written or video, whatever format it is, sort of like, because then we help the next person out, right? I think that's important, because so many use cases and so many interesting things you can do.
Yeah, I think and that's interesting as well, this use cases, because once you establish your system, there will be always a need to build new stuff, right? New things. You can maybe you come up with some need. I mean, your kids or someone in your family, your wife or whatever, can request something. Oh, I need this, I need that. So, and you can come up and with possible an automation, right? And the people will be happy at the end. I mean, you can be happy if you need that thing, but the other people in your home can be happy as well, right? If they request and see. So
I mean, that's like, yeah, that's fundamental, right? Have you had a lot of your colleagues or friends or family members asking you to come and help them with their automation ideas? Have you got like a funny story to tell us?
Yeah, I have. I have a funny story. Actually, my kid has a lot of things at his bedroom. I mean, street lights and things that sometimes to alert him that it's time to bed. I mean, I turn off the screen of the computer, for example, right, just to at 8 p.m. Right, some things silly like that. But one thing that I that is interesting is in my bedroom, I put a switch in the fan that stays at the top of my bed, right? But I don't like to sleep with the fan directed to me, and my wife likes. And this was a fight, right?
Yeah,
Oh no, and she covered with the blanket and everything, and still the fan. And I have I mean, things at the nose. I cannot have the fan directly to me.
yeah.
And what I did is an automation that turn on the fan until midnight.
Yeah.
Midnight turns off. And this, I make a joke that saves my marriage, right? Because I mean, you can play with both words, right? I mean, I can satisfy her until certain time, and after we just get to sleep, I mean, after midnight, nobody will see, right? And the feelings, the sensation not be the same, right? And there is another case that that's the example that I shared in the book was to turn on the lights at the garage after the sunset, right?
Yeah.
And just because, I mean, sometimes we get out at night with the kids, and when we get to the home,
yeah,
I mean, everything was dark in the garage, so we put a motion sensor there, and just after I mean, because the day it's light, I mean, it's not needed, right?
Sure.
We have sun in the garage, so it's not a problem. Just at the night, so. And this I implemented, and was good. I mean, for the family in a whole.
Yeah.
So this basic examples, but I mean that helps, right? And
No, it
that
does. It does.
there is there is a very maybe traditional one, right?
Yeah.
That this is not through Home Assistant, because I use Alexa a lot at home as well. It's just to, I mean, the good night routine, right?
Mm.
To turn off all the lights when you go to sleep, and just tell Alexa good night, and shut down all the lights that are turned on. And another one that's maybe the final one, at my street here is very dark, right?
Yeah.
I need to have the front lights at my home turned on, otherwise nobody will see the number,
Yeah. Yeah.
house
Yeah. Yeah.
number, house number, right?
Yeah.
So they're the same thing when the sunset comes. They turn on the front lights,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, and it stays for 4 hours, right, after the sunset, and turn off.
Yeah.
So this type of things, right? Not too, maybe not too much complex, but that solves basic problems, right?
So many use cases that can be solved
Yes.
in a relatively simple way. I think the difficulty is trying to overdo it. I think if you're starting at the beginning, the smart home journey, you tend to try to
Yeah.
automate too many things, or it becomes too intrusive. Or
Mm-hmm.
if you're like sitting down and you're like, why is that light turned on? I don't know
Yeah.
why. Then there's something's going on. You've got too many complex automations that are doing
Mm-hmm.
something that you don't understand what's happening. I
Yeah.
think the best ones is like when you just have these automations that happen, and people, you don't even notice it happens anymore. It
Yes.
just happens, but I don't notice it anymore. And then
Yes.
sometimes when people visit my house, they're like, "Oh, I've noticed these things happens." I'm like, "Oh, for me, it's becoming like
Normal.
normal."
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. If you have a question from binary search, which do you think is the best protocol for smart home devices? We have Wi-Fi, Zigbee, or Z-Wave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good question. Thanks for your question. Again, that's based on experience, right? And it's something that I state in the book. I comment about these three protocols in the book, and comment about the in situations how you can use them, right? Uh, but I have to say that as the book is based on my experience, I still not using neither Zigbee or Z-Wave at home. And what I feel the most impact not using them is just, I mean, before the live here, I was just replacing the batteries of my door sensor, right? Because these protocols, Zigbee and Z-Wave, they were more suitable for battery-powered devices, right? The Wi-Fi has a lot of power consumption, right? As people are familiar with, but it's very easy to integrate, right?
Yeah,
Zigbee. I think that nowadays they are releasing some modems that combine all these radio devices inside, right?
yeah,
But in the past, at the time that I was building my system, you have to purchase a separate radio, right? A hub radio to make these devices be able to be integrated in your home, right? But I think that it depends. If it's not battery powered, right? Basically, you can go for Wi in the Wi-Fi. There is an issue as well, depending on the situation, right? That sometimes is more related to battery powered devices. If you use Wi-Fi to waking up the device, right, and to go through the stack, the entire software stack, to be able to communicate, to send a comment, you spend more time than the other devices. So using Wi-Fi for battery-powered devices for me is the key point on how to use one or other, right?
Yeah.
Is I mean, can be more, but at least what I feel. I mean, again, I'm not in the book. I'm not use everything, all the technologies based on my experience. I comment again to give the background, right? But I am not using. But I recommend to use Zigbee and Z-Wave if you have this battery powered devices, right?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
maybe other people. I know one guy that is my friend that actually I have two cases, right, to share. One of my friends that used to swim with me.
Yeah.
I was when I released the book, I was looking for his system. He said, "Oh, I have a system, a home assistant." He's a software developer, architect
Yeah.
actually, and he knows a lot. He has a lot of devices in his home. I went to his home recently, and he showed me a lot of things there, and this includes Zigbee and Z-Wave, right? So he knows a lot. And I have another friend that just discovered Home Assistant after read the book, right? He's an engineer as well, and he built his entire system and with different types of networks and everything after read the book,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. That's amazing. Do you want to give us a tour of your home assistant?
sure.
Set up?
Let me show some things here. Let's see. Here. Okay. Hope that can see my screen. Okay,
Yeah.
nice. So this is probably I did not evolve much this, but this is just to show some examples here. This is a floor plan of my bedroom with some devices here that I have.
Nice.
Right,
Yep.
door sensor, a switch for the TV, and the fan that I comment. Fan, right, and then and a switch for the lights, right? I'm not using too much lights, color lights at home. It's more switches, right, that you can control the lights through it,
Yeah.
right? And I this is the basic one with some automations here, right? It's not too fancy, I should say, but shows very well the distributions that you can build with Home Assistant. You can build, for example, your dashboard. This is the dashboard for Home Assistant, right? For people that's not familiar with, and you can divide by dependencies, right? You have different sensors or and actuators here in each dependency of your home, and you can also divide by types of sensors, right?
Yeah.
Door sensors, temperature sensor, motion sensors. Yeah, I think that's the one that I have here. The bed sensor is not here. But anyways, yeah, I put here the color lamps. I think that the color lamp is just behind me here. Yeah, it's turn on and turn off
Yeah, I
the
see
blue
it. Yeah.
light that's behind me. Yep. And I have here just to show some examples. You can turn off the lights, right? I turn on
Yeah.
the light that's front of me. You can turn on, and
Yeah.
then we can turn on. You can have different behaviors here, right? So, for example, the light now it's changing its color here, and using scenes, for example, there's another concept in Home Assistant, right? You can set up a scene in your own room in the way that you want. Right now, I have the blue light in the back of me
Yeah.
with this smart home maker scene, right?
Yeah.
And I have this basic automation here just to show. I mean, it's more to show to people basic things, right? So
Yeah.
this is the bed peer sensor, right? You see here that's detected, right? let me see here if I can put in a way that's not be detected. Now it's clear, right? It's blue, right?
Yeah.
So if I turn on this automation here, for example, right? What I did is that I will turn off this desk lamp for 5 seconds and turn on again. So you can see the light in my screen that will be turned off. But I have to turn on the automation, otherwise you'll be triggering all the time because the motion sensor is just beside me here, right?
Yeah.
So let's turn on, just a second here.
So just to give a bit more context for newer listeners, dashboards basically is the way you interact with devices in Home Assistant. However, and this is the cool thing which you're showcasing here, if when you create an automation, the automation then can be enabled and disabled a bit like you turn on and turn off a device. So that, from my understanding, that automation you've got there, it's an automation you created, right? But it's not a device. So what you're trying to say is, if I don't want the motion sensor to work, I want to turn it off. Then that's particularly actually useful, because there's been some times that I've found myself in the same situation, like in the hallway. You have it normally, it turns on and off on, when it doesn't sense motion. But then maybe if you're working on something, you do some building work, or you're stationary, but you're working on something in that room, you'll find your lights keep going off, and then you have to like wave your hand. And this is a way to get, solve that, which is basically disable the automation from the dashboard. So if not, your alternative would be to go all on into the automation screens, right? Click on all the screens and find it and then turn it off. Whereas this is it's easier to do this way in dashboards. Sorry to interrupt, Marco.
No, it's very good. Thanks. Thanks for this clarification. It's very good to explain better for the audience. But you can see basically if it's blue here is not activated, and you see here that's clear, right? Now the automation is turned on, right? If I just put my hand here at the sensor, right? You see that it'll be yellow. You'll be for 5 seconds, you'll be turn off the light here. You see that it will be a little bit dark in my face. And then 5 seconds again, you'll be returned with the light. Okay, let's try. See if it works. It's good to show that you have to turn off, otherwise you'll be turn on and turn off again. And if you see that to be activated, right? If I put my hand here, right? And and this is just one of the examples, right? What I also want to show, to people that is watching the video, is that other resources that I explore through Home Assistant, right? You have, for example, Node-RED, right? And Grafana. And I have Node-RED is another language that you can develop automations, for example.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I build this, for example, this automation that I comment about the garage motion at night. I made using Node-RED. Right. Is a maybe more intuitive language. Is based on not code, but on charts that you can build, connect things, right? And you have the sensors here and here. Basically, this garage sensor, motion sensor detects and it gets the location, see if it's the day or night. And you do some codes through these blocks here and activate the switch at the garage, right? And this is one of the automations, and this is another one. That's another example in the book where I teach how to build a five zone temperature logger, right? Using the sensor that I have at my garage and two other and 4 other Bluetooth thermometers that I hacked and shared in different places in my home, right? And I grab this data here, right? And this goes through a database, and this through InfluxDB, and this is collected, and you can see the data in Grafana. That's one of the IoT tools that you can use to present data, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here you can see inside temperature. So these are, and you have some, I don't know if people can see, but there are different rooms here, right? And you have outside temperature. That's basically the garage and the backyard, right? And here I can see for maybe 6 hours, but I can change this the last 6 hours. I can change this for 2 days, for example, right?
Mm.
And I think that I can share more. Yeah, I can maybe, yeah, I can put here, for example, 6 months. It's
Yeah,
slow.
it just takes a while to, I guess, to fetch the data from the database.
Yeah, to update, but is the
There you go.
data you can see, right? The data from these different areas at home back to 6 months,
So let me
and it's
just
interesting.
let me ask you a question then. So it's I guess the main reason to store this rich history is then to how are you planning to use that, like in automations, to basically not say predict, but basically try to simulate some sort of behavior based on what happened in the past?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because when you store data, right? I mean, you have to use for some reason. Today, I'm not use it as I want. I think that in the book I comment that the basic idea was to grab this data and try to, I mean, making the air conditioner, I mean, try to get an average of the temperature, right? And through these different areas at home inside, basically, and try to get a common temperature and better regulate or manage the air conditioner, right? To or the HVAC system to in a temperature that can be more common, let's say, in all different rooms at home. That was the
Yeah.
idea. But I have 2 air conditioners at home, two different ones, right? And just one is able to be controlled remotely, right? The
Oh,
other
right.
is not. And then because of that, I was not able to implement the solution, the feedback, right? That was
Sure.
to grab this temperature and then control the HVAC system to better manage the average temperature that you
Right.
have at home. Right. That was the basic idea, right?
Yeah.
But is not implemented because of this
That's good. That's
limitation.
fine.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess because you need to store the data first anyway. So you need to first store it and then after action it. But no, I understand why you're doing it. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
shows so many. Yeah, I loved it. I like this because not many people store information about what happens in a smart home. Some of us rely on what the retention period is in Home Assistant by default.
Yes.
The history. But
Yes.
I guess there's so much more insight we can get into it.
Yes, I think that the other use cases that I'm working right now is more related to power consumption, right? I mean, this is also related to somehow power consumption, but you can
For
save
the air
energy and
conditioning.
even, yeah, you can save energy, for example, getting data from your power consumption that you have at home and see how you are using the energy in your home, right? And maybe using some techniques or AI or machine learning, you can predict what could be the best times that you can use the system and pay less, right? I mean, the energy
Yeah.
system pay less, for example, right? And
Yeah.
that justifies, for example, the need to store data but it's not for
Yeah.
temperature in this case. It would be for power consumption, right? Or energy
Yeah.
consumption.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess like solar panels are quite popular, becoming more and more popular here in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on obviously where you live and how much
Mm-hmm.
sun exposure to the sun you get. But even the UK is getting quite popular. And
Yeah.
then people combining it with batteries, and then
Yes.
the whole balancing between when do you use the battery, when you use the solar, how do you manage your consumption? It's very
Yeah.
complex. It
Yes.
can get complex, a lot more
Yes.
difficult than just a simple automation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to comment that I don't have solar panels at home, but I'm planning to have. I mean, just to play more with the resources at home. But you have this tab here, right? That you can manage this electricity grid, and include your solar system here. Maybe one of the last things that I want to share as well is
Sure.
this uh, web server that actually is running in the sensor that I showed, right? This one. And if you go here, for example, in this tab, you can manage some different types of configurations, right? People that are more familiar with Tasmora. This is the Tasmora software or firmware, right? You can do firmware upgrade and so on. And here you can have a window that you can see the sensor being triggered, right? Through the commands, right? And you can put some
Yeah.
commands here as well. Is very flexible, right? Yeah, it's written by Theo Arranz, as I comment, right? So this I'm connected through an IP here directly to this sensor here. So yeah, I mean, that's something that I'd like to share, right? I mean, this basic stuff and all these things I covered in the book. I mean, how I create this examples,
Yeah.
also how to install this IoT stack. Um, and Also, there is another example related to the strip lights, right?
Yeah.
That you can use WLAD. I think that's not here because usually I use in two season. Yeah, I have here WLAD. Have a card here, but it's not activated because I usually use just in the holiday seasons, the
Yeah.
Christmas and
The Christmas
Halloween.
light. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah. That would
Yeah,
be nice.
and yeah, that's also I teach in the book how you can build your own using this WLED. It's nice.
Nice. And are there plans for a new book? What exciting projects are you working on next?
Thanks for asking. I've been asked, as you comment before briefly, the content for Home Assistant is I mean, even home automation is evolving a lot, right? It's changing a lot. They release a new version of the software each month, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of changes. So some of the content, I'm lucky because I'm not too focused on the superficial things. It's more things from background, right? To solidify the knowledge. So, but some screens, maybe in the book, is not. Are configuring the same way that's is representing the book. So I have to maybe by the end of the week start to working a new release for the book. I have ideas to maybe uh, write another book, but it's a long-term project just to try to cover things that were not covered in this first book,
Yeah.
right? And what I'm working right now is try to uh, play a little bit more with is something that I'm not too familiar with yet. Is play with more with cloud based systems, right? I mean, I have it's the system at my home, but is not clouded based, right? I mean, I want to explore a little bit more this type of things and some other industrial IoT devices, right? Some other types of radios, LoRa and in BIoT, I think that's the name. There are some technologies, and what I'm truly want to do again is try to find a use case, a good real use case to use machine learning and AI, right, artificial intelligence with IoT, right? And I'm doing a course right now at MIT, and it's based on Industry 4.0, right? That we have a project there that I'm trying to we are trying to focus on this machine learning and AI devices with IoT to really build a good use cases that everybody can really use, right? Because in software development you can use a lot, but we can come when you go to the edge, you start to use more with sensors and everything. I maybe just saw two examples up to now that you could apply or people are applying, right? So and I want to see more, I want to learn more how to use it, right?
I think that absolutely makes sense. I mean, there's so much to explore. And what are the timelines? Like, how long does it take? Like, what's the time commitment? Talk to us about the time commitment to produce some, the content, the research, and everything, like behind the book in general.
Yeah, good question. Well, I mean, with all the background, I mean, to write the first book, right? I mean, this the book that was released, I probably took 1 month for me to build what they call outline, right? That we write all the content for the chapters. I mean, all the brief comments, what we explore in each chapter, right, of the book, and took 1 month, and then took me 5 months to write all the content, right? It was very straightforward because I have everything created already. So it's just more to review the sequence that I created, right? And put the things in the book. I mean, it was very straightforward. For the second book, probably I have to explore or learn a little bit more about some of the content, right? Since I'm not using too much. Things like the Zigbee and Z-Wave, for example, I don't have here at home. I have to buy them, explore them, see how they works and everything. I'm very practical. I will not write about something that I don't know. I mean, that I didn't feel the experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That's great. Cool. Right. So do you want to show us the book again? Like, how do people where people get it? Which format?
So
maybe you have some exciting news also to share.
So let me share here the link to buy the book. I have to put in the chat here. Just a second.
Sure.
Yeah, I put in the chat how you can the link to Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Maybe share just a second here. I think that I'm still sharing my screen.
Oh yeah.
So this is
I can see.
Yeah, so this is the page at Amazon. And you can buy in two different formats. It's a hard copy and a digital ebook format, right? Through Amazon and through Packet directly, you can buy the book as well. It's 11 chapters, 356 pages, with my sharing the experience that I have, and totally based on things that I have at home, right? Of course I have to comment about things that I didn't implement in the first chapter, just to give the background. But like Zigbee and Z-Wave that I comment, but pretty much is everything that's implemented in my home that I'm sharing in the book.
It's really, really valuable resource. Amazing, Marco. So I heard you have some copies to give away.
Yeah, actually, something that Packet is providing to us. They are for the participants of this live. I mean, we have two hard copies and 2 digital copies to give it away. And I mean, we have to choose a way. I don't know if you thought about it. How we're gonna share this?
I think we can just do the first people that comment either in the live or in the post live for people watching afterwards. If you've got this far into the live after an hour and you are interested in getting a free copy, then you can comment. They will comment down below, and then they just email. We get in touch with them in some way. Yes. Yeah. So you can email me. You'll see my email in my channel page, so you can get in touch. If you're selected, you can get in touch with us by email, and then we'll find a way to get the book, either the hard copy or the digital. Yeah.
Yeah, two hard copies and 2 digitals, and it'll be in the order that you selected there. You get first comments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's been a pleasure having Marco. It's a great chat.
Well, I think that's very good conversation, and I mean, and you can invite me for future ones. It was very pleasant to talk about this subject. For me, I can stay here talking for many times if needed. I really enjoy, and I like a lot. Thanks for the invitation again.
Yeah, I mean, let us know. Like the stream to show your support, and let us know even via comments if you like this format, if you want me to do more of these live streams again, if you want Marco to come back with more new exciting projects when you do them, then yeah, I'm super looking forward to seeing what else you will be contributing to the smart home ecosystem. It's been a pleasure having you, Marco. It's been a pleasure having you guys all online watching us and sticking around up until the end of the live. This is Gio from Smart Home Makers, Marco, and wish you everyone a great morning, afternoon, night, depending on wherever you are. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.